Striking Scorpion 82 is now sponsored by Knighthood. Battle epic friends and foes in a living fantasy RPG world full of mysterious monsters and mighty enemies as you strive to become the land's most feared and famous Knighthood. Win rare treasure in hunts and quests to improve your gear and up your game. Collect ancient heroes to fight by your side and summon their abilities in times of need. Fully customise your member of the Knighthood, join a guild, fight epic battles and win glory in the PvP arena. Free to download and play, link in the video description below, and when you download the game it helps support the channel. Thanks and enjoy the game. Right, welcome to this review for the new Astra Militarum Codex. So Games Workshop very kindly sent me a set of the Cadian stands set for you get the models, the cards and the codex here. So check out that video, it's a full, it's like a review unboxing type video. And then in this video here we're going to focus specifically on the codex. It will be a full review, so we'll go through, I can't say all the rules, but it's going to be pretty exhaustive and go through as much as possible. Some very exciting developments with the Astra Militarum looking particularly good. Some fantastic models for them now available, and it looks like more models and amazing stuff coming in the future as well. So very, very exciting time. This is a big thing for Games Workshop. Astra Militarum outside of Space Marines, I think Astra Militarum will be the next biggest faction that there is. So this is quite a big event. So, and it's big for the channel and for James as well. Obviously, James is super excited about his Astra Militarum finally getting their new codex. He's been going on about it for a while. So, it's, well, a couple of years, but now finally the codex has arrived. For discount 40k, to get a hold of the new Cadian stuff, then do check out the link in the video description below for the Outpost. It's discount 40k from them, Age of Sigmar, loads of other gaming systems, terrain, accessories, paints, the whole lot available from them, so do check them out. If your order's large enough, not only do you get your usual discount, but you can also tap into free postage as well. It just helps to keep the cost of the hobby down. When you use that link, it helps support the channel. So, initial impressions of the codex here, like real nice commemorative edition. This looks fantastic. The Rogal Dorn tank looks utterly incredible, like a really, really nice tank for sure. And this new mounted on mechanical horseback commander type thing going on here as well. So we'll take a look and see what that is as we get going into the codex. So first up will be the fluff and the illustrations. So yes, there is some interesting things going on here. So new artwork for the Cadians. This is the artwork that's seen on the front of the Cadian stands book, the box set. So the older artwork, the Hammer of the Emperor. Millions and millions and millions of these guardsmen fighting against the horrors of the galaxy. A glorious tapestry. James will be all over this book here. Ursula Creed, just bringing the fluff for her, the fall of Cadian. The era Indomitus. The chain of command, just roll through these. Now, I want to make this observation. Yeah, no, I could be wrong. I'm just wondering, Mordy 9 Guard, is that artwork new? Is my question. Because if it is, let's talk about Cadian, and there's some other artwork coming up. If there's new artwork going on, see, that's new. That's Rough Riders of Attila. I think that could be new. That is artwork for Talon Desert Raiders. Now, if they're starting to do new artwork, so one of my worries that I had, we're going on about getting different Astra Militarum regiments for a long, long time, going back for years on the channel, begging Games Workshop to do it. If they're producing new artwork for older regiments, then surely the models must be on the way. I was worried they might try and write them out of the fluff, perhaps, but I don't think that's going to happen here. They're continuing to tell the story of these different chapters or regiments, and so therefore I think really it's only a matter of time before we start to see other regiments coming through. James is doing Cadians, and I would love to get into Guard if and when new regiments arrive. My favourite's been Talon Desert Raiders. I'd love to collect a desert themed Guard army. I don't really want to paint Cadians in desert colour scheme. I'd rather just something different. So, and it's so easy to do. You could just do like a box set of infantry, a command set, and you can pretty much use the other models from the range, something like that. It's Talon Desert Raiders, love them, 49 Guard. Rough Riders we know are on the way, which is very exciting, and that's another indicator that if they're going to redo those, and the ones that they've redone from the pictures I've seen, they look pretty faithful to the original, so that means the other regiments should be pretty faithful to the originals, or the artwork sort of points in that direction as well. Desert Guard, Talon Desert Raiders, super cool, very, very cool. We know they've done it for the Kree as well, so therefore surely the other regiments are to follow. So I think that's very exciting news indeed. The Sabbath Worlds, various infantry regiments. We may see some alternate colour schemes for the Guard coming up. Armoured regiments, Signs of the Storm, Tempestus Signs, Warzone Armageddon, De Gloria Yarrick. Oh, it's the end of him by the looks of it. Then Guard fighting away here. This is the new models. This is the new Sentinel. Absolutely fantastic resculpts Games Workshop have done. Really, really good. They've redone heavy weapons teams, the ordnance teams. Well, this is the ordnance teams are newer, and then you've got the heavy weapons teams being done. Really nice. There's the Rogal Dorn tank, which in my opinion is one of the top models for me now from Games Workshop. And there it is, look at that, painted up in that colour scheme. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Man, that's incredibly good. The triple tone, like classic army camo pattern, looks fantastic. Really nice. That is glorious. Really good. Such a cool tank. Now it's very, especially the single barrel one, like here, very World War II Pershing, American Army sort of style going on with that. Looks fantastic. Looking for alternate colour schemes here. These look particularly nice. In fact, that's pretty much our colour scheme that we're running at the moment here. The black and the grey and the edge highlighting. So I think that's pretty much how James is going to paint his. Very nice indeed. Yeah, particularly good. Fighting in urban environments. There's the Rough Riders. They have featured them here in the new book. There they are charging away. They're painted up. Maybe they're just replicating the models here, but there's multiple squads charging forwards. Cavalry going forwards here ahead of the main armoured thrust, and that looks very nice indeed. And the Rough Riders look fantastic. Brilliant. Yeah, real nice. Cadians. So exciting times. The guys are a real lurch forwards with them. Revamp for the Cadians. There's the Arcadian Leonatus Lord Commander Solar just there. Don't know what James thinks of that model. I'm sure we'll find out in James's Codex review. He plans to do his own Codex review over on his channel, so link for that is in the video description for James's channel to get his take on the Codex. Another brilliant bit of artwork here. Beautiful stuff. The Guard look nice in that colour scheme. The yellow stripe, sort of the Avalon sunset stripe running down the centre of the helmet. That tank in that colour scheme looks fantastic. Brilliant. So now onto the rules. We've delved into a bit of the fluff, bit of the artwork, which is a major aspect of the hobby. So detachment abilities. And so just to chain of command and the structure, we'll move on here. So regimental doctrines. So just going back to detachment abilities, your standard regimental doctrines here, born soldiers, that's the single one that you get. And then what you can do is you can drop that one and then select two from here. So you're straight into sort of one standard, and then the options are to go for two customizable ones instead. So for born soldiers, here you get models of the doctrine have the born soldiers keyword. Officers of this doctrine have the following aura ability. Born soldiers aura whilst a friendly platoon unit is within 6 inches of this model Models in that platoon unit can use this officer's leadership characteristic instead of their own. It's a bit of a boost for morale. And you also get, each time model of this doctrine makes a ranged attack, an unmodified hit roll of 6 automatically wounds the target. So we've seen that rule already being used, so James will be used to that. So that's it. So if you're not happy with that, then you can go over here and pick 2 from these options across here. So, just saying, there's there's nothing for the other regiments, I don't think. We'll see as we go along, in which case rules for them must follow, or they're waiting to release, but we'll see. We'll go through the rest of the book and see what comes up here. Rough Riders of Attila, like more of a mercenary type unit you can feed into your Cadian regiment, for example, and just use them in that form. But interesting. So, Mechanised Infantry is the first one. Units of this doctrine gain Mechanised keyword. Units of this doctrine can disembark from a transport model, excluding aircraft. After that model has made a normal move, so it's move and then disembark, so useful enough if that's your play style. But if they do so, units cannot be selected to move again this phase, and neither they nor their transport eligible to declare a charge. So fair enough, you can't charge after you do that, but certainly useful enough. And that you can select that one, you've still got another one to pick on. Parade drill, if unit of this doctrine remains stationary movement phase until the end of the turn, until the end of your next shooting phase, change the type characteristic of las guns and hotshot las guns to heavy 2. So you're getting your rapid fire weapons sitting stationary like Space Marines, for example, getting the double shot. Armoured superiority, units of this doctrine gain the armoured superiority keyword. Sentinel models of this doctrine counts 3 models for when determining control of an objective marker. Titanic models count as 10. All other vehicles count as 5. So a bit more sort of presence on the battlefield. Blitz division, when placing units with this doctrine into strategic reserves, half the combined power ratings when determining the number of command points you spend to do so. In the second battle round, each time you set up a vehicle unit, excluding sentinels of this doctrine from strategic reserves, is considered to be the third battle round for the purposes of where you can deploy it, so you can deploy a bit deeper. When you do that again, you just sort of pick them on to match your style and the theme, the way you want to run your army. Expert bombardiers, units of this doctrine gain the keyword. Each time an artillery model of this doctrine makes a ranged attack, if the target of that attack is within 12 inches of and is visible to a friendly Voxcaster or Sentinel unit, add 1 to the attack's hit roll. Nice. Heirloom weapons. Add 4 inches to the range characteristic of all ranged weapons, excluding relics. Recon operators at the start of the first battle round before the first turn begins. Infantry, cavalry, and sentinel units of this doctrine that start the battle wholly within your deployment zone. They can all move up to 6 like a pre-game move. You can't end closer to the 9 inches to the enemy deployment zone or enemy models, but useful. Yeah, these are all quite useful. Here, trophy hunters, you can select this doctrine. If you have selected any other doctrine and you select this doctrine, you can select a second. Each time model of this doctrine makes an attack against a monster or vehicle, it's +1 to the strength. Grim demeanour, you get the keyword, and each time a combat attrition test is taken, you can ignore modifiers. Then brutal strength, infantry models of this doctrine do not suffer the penalty of the hit rolls incurred for firing heavy weapons in the turn in which the unit moved. And each time an infantry unit of this doctrine fights, made a charge or was charged, performed heroic intervention until that unit fight is resolved, add 1 to the strength characteristic of models in that unit. +1 strength. Yeah, pretty good bonus there. Veteran guerrillas. They gain the keyword. Infantry or sentinel models with this doctrine makes attack the target unit within 18 inches. The target doesn't receive the benefit of cover. Elite sharpshooters, you get the keyword, and each time unit's doctrine is selected to shoot, you can reroll 1 hit roll when resolving that unit's attacks. Okay, and then Cult of Sacrifice. Units of this doctrine gain the Cult of Sacrifice keyword. Each time model of this doctrine makes an attack, if that model's unit was below its starting strength and it was selected to shoot or fight, it's +1 to hit roll. That's tricky, that one, and you've got to get damage in order to get the bonus. That's 9. And then industrial efficiency. Each time attack with an armor penetration characteristic of -1 is allocated to a model of this doctrine. That attack has an armor penetration characteristic of 0 instead. And then swift as the wind, add 1 to the move characteristic of infantry and artillery models in this doctrine, and 2 inches to all other models, and then +1 to charge rolls as well. That's quite good. Swift as the wind's pretty good. So they're not wasted here. There's some pretty good ones, and you can get, I'm sure, some great combinations Very good. All right, regimental doctrines, fine. So far, nice and straightforward. So I've said about bloating with the rules. My position now, I think, is keep the variety. So the codexes in their current format are fine. And what Games Workshop, I think, should do, and could easily do, is just start introducing some limitations on what you can bring to a game. So your codex is nice and broad, and the depth and the fluff and the variety, fantastic. And they're brilliantly put together. Massive fan of the codexes for 9th edition. But to cut out the bloat and the way it affects the game, just put some limitations on what you can take from here and bring to a game. So for example, you have all the stratagems that you want, but you have to pick 6 to bring to 2,000 points a game. You can only use those 6, and you just lay them out in front of you, and that's it. Your stratagems are sorted out, and then therefore you're not trying to remember all the stratagems, and the same for your opponent. You just got those few that you use, and you pick your stratagems in a similar way that you pick your regimental doctrines. So you're going for mechanised infantry, you're going to pick the appropriate doctrines and the appropriate stratagems to help you out with that, and that's it. And then you're not having to keep remembering or referring back to the codex all the time. You've got your stuff laid out, and it's a lot more simple. So therefore you keep your variety, but then you bring some simplicity into the game. Let's try and cut out the bloating, is the idea. So that's just my thoughts on that. So stratagems, and it just seems to be the usual amount for the full-size codex, 4 pages of them. So we're looking for some golden nuggets amongst this lot. So Armoured Fist. Use your stratagem in your shooting phase. Astra Militarum core unit from your army selected to shoot. To the end of that phase, each time model in that unit makes an attack against the closest target. If that model disembarked from a transport model this turn, you can re-roll the wound roll. 1 CP. That's what? There we go. Struck gold. Straight away. Fire at the closest target. If you disembark from a transport vehicle, you re-roll your wounds for 1 CP. Utterly. Whoa. That's fantastic. So just tracking back. Don't take up too much time on this, but you're picking your 6 stratagems. Pick that one. Pick mechanised infantry. You know the rules for them, and away you go and play the game. You don't have to worry about all the other stratagems because they're not been picked. You can't refer to them. There's no point looking through the book because you just have the ones that you've picked for the battle. Yeah, and then I would take Armoured Fist. That's brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Really, really good one, that one. Vengeance for Cadian. 1 CP. Use your stratagem in shooting phase or fight phase on a Cadian unit from your army or a platoon unit from your army that is itself in 6 inches of a friendly Cadian officer unit. It's selected to shoot or fight at the end of the phase. Each time one of the unit makes attack against the chaos unit, it's +1 to the wound roll on top of that. So you can double stack that one. Cadian stands. 1 CP. Use your stratagem in any phase when a Cadian infantry unit from your army selected as the target of an attack. To the end of the phase, wound rolls of 1 to 3 always fail. Whoa, really going to help them out. Yeah, nice. Ingrained Precision, 1 CP. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase and a born soldiers unit from army selected to shoot. So that's specific to that doctrine at the start that we talked about. To the end of that phase, each time on that unit makes a ranged attack. Unmodified hit roll of 5+ automatically wounds the target. If an attack automatically wounds a target as a result of this, then for the purposes of any rolls that are triggered on a particular wound, the attack is considered to have been made with an unmodified wound roll of 6+. So 5+ to also win the target. Another good one. As strong as 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all coming through pretty good here. Overlapping fields of fire. This is 2 CP for this one. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase. Enemy models destroyed by an attack made by a platoon or squadron model from your army. To the end of that phase, each time a friendly platoon or squadron model makes an attack, it's reroll. Reroll wound rolls of 1 against that destroyed model's unit. And unmodified wound rolls of 6 improve the AP by 1. Okay, so they've changed it, I think, compared to what it was. Volley fire, 2 CP. Use a stratagem at the end of the shooting phase. Select one infantry squad from your army that remains stationary. You can shoot again. Yeah, useful enough. It's expensive, but it's certainly useful. It just says infantry squad. Right, you've got to remain stationary. Okay, interesting. Experienced Eye, 1 CP. Use your stratagem in shooting phase. Kasakin or elite sharpshooters core unit from your army selected to shoot. At the end of the phase, each time that unit makes an attack, improve the AP by 1. Movable Indoctrination, 1 CP. Use a stratagem in any phase of the Militarum Tempestus infantry unit from your army that's within range of objective army selected as the target of an attack. So into that phase, each time attack is made against that unit. But you can't reroll the win roll. And you worsen the AP by 1. Okay, that helps them out, I'm sure, a little bit. Then you've got Relentless. 1 CP or 2 CP. Use the stratagem in your command phase. Select an Astra Militarum vehicle model from your army until the start of the next command phase. The model is considered to have its 4 wounds remaining for the purposes of determining what characteristics to use. If it's Titanic, it's 2 CP, otherwise it's 1. Yeah, again, that's very, very useful indeed. So you've got Liam Ross and 1 win left. It's count as full profile. Yeah, fantastically useful. There's gold everywhere. Field promotion, 1 CP. Use this strategy for like being drawn back to the Emperor here. He's saying, come back, you know, you can, all the benefits here. This is much better than the town. Oh dear. It's all quite good. It's a good advert for the Imperium to become loyal again. So, field promotion. Use this stratagem when a National Militarum Warlord from your army is destroyed. Select one officer model from your army that doesn't have a Warlord trait. Then select a Warlord trait that no model from your army has, and select a model is eligible for to the end of the battle. Model gains that Warlord trait, and all rules purposes now count as your Warlord. If any mission, objective, secondary, tactical objective, or agenda rules are triggered and your Warlord is destroyed, those rules are not triggered until after the new Warlord is destroyed. You can only use this stratagem once. Field promotion, very cool. Like the idea, brilliant idea. Vengeful Salute, 1 or 2 CP. Use a stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase. A National Militarum vehicle model from your army is destroyed but didn't explode. Do not remove that model from play. It can shoot after that attacking model's unit has finished making attacks. While doing so, the model can only make attacks with turret weapons it is equipped with, and its ballistic skill 5+. Alright, so a little bit of a last blast from the vehicle before it goes. Vengeful Salute. After resolving the attacks, the model is removed. If that model has the battle tank or armored superiority keyword, it costs 1 CP, otherwise it's 2. So, yeah, pretty good. No, it's very cool. Nice fluffy one, that one. Vengeful Salute. Very cool. Battlefield Surgery. 1 CP. Use a stratagem in your command phase. Select an Astra Militarum medic from your army. It's below its, from your army that is below its starting strength, not within engage range of any enemy units. Up to D3 models. Excluding officer models can be added back to that unit. Their 4 wounds remaining. A medic unit. Not medic model, it's medic unit. And it's got to be below its starting strength, yeah, okay. Cool. No, I think Astra Militarum medic unit, I think that means like you've got a unit and it's got that keyword in it. You've paid the points to add the medic in, and then they can self-heal and start repairing and bring models back. Cool. Crush them. 1 CP, use a stratagem in the fight phase and a battle tank or super heavy tank model from your army selected to fight. At the end of that phase, each time that model makes an attack against an enemy unit, excluding vehicles or monsters, change the model's weapon skill characteristic to 4+. If that model has the armoured keyword, that changes weapon skill to 3+. An unmodified wound roll of 6, target suffers a mortal wound in addition to any normal damage. So a bit of ability to fight close combat, crush them with the tracks. And that's a good addition as well. So well done to Games Workshop for adding that in. Nice. Fire in my position, 1 or 2 CP. Use a stratagem in a Vox caster model from your army is destroyed by melee attack. Do not remove that model from play. After all the models in that attacking unit finished making their attacks, roll 1d6 for each unit within 3 inches of that Vox caster. And a 4+ unit being rolled 4 suffers D3 mortal wounds. That Vox caster model is then removed from play. And if that model has the cult of sacrifice keyword, it's 1 CP, otherwise it's 2 CP. So you can call in like artillery just as you're dying on the enemy as they overrun you and stuff. So another fluffy, cool stratagem. So I'm loving the whole theme. The rules for these seem great, and the theme for them is really nice. Officer Cadre. Austrian Army. This is for it's taking a character and making a warlord trait for them. Battlefield Bequest is next. When you select an Astra Militarum model from your army, the sergeant or watchmaster in their profile, give them one of the following heirlooms of conquest, which gives them access to the relics. Imperial Commander's Armour, it's 1 CP. Imperial Commander's Armour, 1 CP. If your warlord has the Astra Militarum keyword, select one Astra Militarum character model from your army, give it 1 relic. So on. So orbital interference, 2 CP. Use your stratagem at the start of the reinforcement step of your opponent's movement phase, or an officer of the fleet model from your army is on the battlefield. If it is the first or the second battle round, you can select one of your opponent's strategic reserves or reinforcement units. That unit cannot arrive on the battlefield this phase for any reason, even if it has another rule that states it always arrives on the battlefield during a specific battle round, for example, drop pod assault. You can use a stratagem 1. So yeah, you can really mess stuff up for the opponent with that one. Maverick Maneuvers, 1 CP. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase and you select a sentinel unit for your army to shoot. After that shooting is resolved, that unit can make an all move up to 6 inches. You can't shoot again this phase. Yeah, useful. Definitely useful. Nice. Thunderous Charge. On CP, use your stratagem in your charge phase when Ogrins or Atalan Rough Riders unit for your army finishes a charge move. Select one enemy unit with engagement range of the Ogrins or Rough Riders unit. Roll 1d6 for each model in the Ogrins or Rough Riders unit that is within engagement range of the enemy unit. For each result that equals or exceeds the enemy's toughness, it's a mortal wound. So, fantastic. Thunderous Charge. Artillery Strike requested, 2 CP. Use your stratagem in your command phase. If a Master of Ordnance or Expert Bombardiers officer model from your army is on the battlefield, select one point on the battlefield and place a marker on that point. At the start of the next command phase, roll 1d6 for each unit within 6 inches of the centre of the marker, adding 1 if the unit being rolled for is in 3 inches of the centre of the marker, and subtracting 1 if it's a character. 2 to 5 it's d3 mortal wounds, 6 plus it's d6 mortal wounds, and then the marker is removed. Okay. Acceptable losses. 1 CP. Use your stratagem in your shooting phase. Select an Astra Militarum unit from your army. It's not within engagement range of enemy units. Then select one enemy unit. At the end of that phase, models in that Astra Militarum unit can target that enemy unit even if it's within engagement range of other friendly platoon or grim demeanor units. Each time model makes an attack against such a target, the attack's hit roll cannot be re-rolled, and an unmodified hit roll of 1 resolve that attack against one friendly unit selected by you that was within engagement range of the target. Instead, resolve any attacks against friendly units after resolving all the attacks against the enemy unit. Vicious Traps. What is this? 1 CP. Use your stratagem in your opponent's charge phase. When an enemy unit finishes a charge move within engagement range of one or more Astra Militarum units from your army, wholly within an area terrain feature, roll 1d6 and apply the following modifiers. +1 if any of those units from your army have the Cadian or Veteran Guerrillas keyword. +1 if any of those units from your army have the Melter Mine keyword, and +1 from your army if your army includes Sly Marbo and he is on the battlefield. 2 to 5 it's d3 mortal wounds, 6 plus it's 2d3 mortal wounds. Roll 1d6. Okay, so you're sort of hunting for that 2d3 result. Not bad for a CP. Fainting Strike, 1 CP. Use your stratagem movement phase and add a Rough Riders unit from army selected to fall back to the end of the turn. That unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in the turn in which they fell back. Fantastic. Nice. Flak Barrage. Use your stratagem at the end of the reinforcement step of your opponent's movement phase. Select one Hydra unit from your army. It is not within engagement range of enemy units. That unit can shoot as if it were a shooting phase, but when doing so, models that unit can only target a single eligible enemy aircraft unit that was set up as reinforcements this turn. Shield of Flesh. Use your stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase. When an infantry unit from your army is selected as the target of an attack, at the end of the phase, each time an enemy model targets that unit with an attack, if that unit is within 3 inches of another friendly unit, has the Ogrins keyword, excluding bodyguard units. Ogrins units closest to the attacking model, subtract 1 from the attack's hit roll. Okay, just to help them out. Mount up, 2 CP. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase and a mechanized keyword that's back there with the doctrines, or the Tempestus infantry unit from your army has shot. If every model that unit is in 3 inches of a friendly transport model, you can re-embark. Cool. Overcharged Las Cells, 1 CP. This is for Cadian or Tempestus units from your army selected to shoot. At the end of that phase, each model that unit makes an attack with a hotshot weapon, unmodified wound roll of 6, inflicts a mortal wound on the target in addition to any normal damage, and it's capped at a maximum of 6 mortal wounds. So you can dish out mortal wounds now. That's going to be a massive help to Cadians. For sure, it's going to make them very potent. And Tempestus units. Very good. Yeah, really good. A nice gold nugget one for them. Smoke launchers, -1 to hit roll. You've got the smoke keyword, 1 CP. ablative plating, 2 or 3 CP. Uses Stratagem in either phase, and a battle tank or armoured unit from an army selected as the target of an attack. At the end of the phase, each time attack is made against that unit, -1 to the damage characteristic of the attack to minimum 1. If it's a super heavy or Rogal Dorn, it costs 3 CP, otherwise it's 2. But nice. Yeah, very nice indeed. And then Melter Mine. Uses Stratagem in the fight phase, and a Melter Mine unit from your army selected to fight each time an enemy vehicle or monster unit engage at range. Of that unit, roll 1d6 on 2 to 5. The enemy unit suffers d3 plus 1 mortal wounds. If it's a 6, it's 2d3. Okay. So really, these stratagems look excellent, nice and straightforward. They're useful. They all seem decent enough. So there's a nice spread of stratagems there, and some very, very useful ones indeed for guard players. So far looking really good. As I go through the codex, if you like what you're seeing here, then do leave your own comments and feedback. I'd love to hear from experienced guard players. Judge from what you've heard already, what you hear from this book. How happy are you with what's on the way for the Astra Militarum? Positive or negative? Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I think it's all positive. The models look fantastic. The codex looks solid enough at the moment. But you're welcome to leave your own opinion in the comments section below. Maybe you're annoyed because you might be thinking, well, my army's sort of obsolete now, I need to get new models, but not so much the case. James is going to go pre-fall of Cadian with his older models, and he's going to paint up new stuff as post-fall of Cadian, just have the 2 branches, depending on the timeline or time zone for the games that he has planned. So that's the kind of approach that he's taking, so he's not in any kind of panic mode what to do with all the older models. So we can look at tank aces next. So you're basically paying points to upgrade your tanks to give them a bit of extra buff and bonus. So for tank aces, each time you make a model, a tank ace, select one of the skills presented on this page for that model that you have. The unit's power rate is increased by 1 if that model is a battle tank, or by 2 if it's a super heavy. If you're playing a match play game and it uses points, so then you've got battle tank units, then super heavy units, so you can take the same upgrade, but it's going to cost you more if you're going to put it onto super heavy, for example. Named characters can't take them, it's all quite straightforward. So, Vaunted Praetorian. You're trying to make your tanks as efficient as possible with firepower, or to protect them a little bit. Super heavy or Rogal Dorn battle tank model only. This model gains the officer keyword and those mechanised orders. Right, so you turn it into an officer tank. In your command phase, you can issue 1 order. If this model is a super heavy model, the unit you select for that order can be an Astra Militarum Titanic unit. All other rules for issuing orders still apply. So Vaunted Praetorian, it's going to cost you 15 points to add on to a normal tank, 30 points to add on to a super heavy. Meticulous Calibrator. Each time this model makes range attack, the target doesn't receive the benefits of cover. Right, so quite straightforward. 20 points for a regular battle tank, 40 points to have that on super heavy. Quite expensive that one. So next one, Mechanical Pack Rat. Each time attack is made against this model, unmodified wound rolls of 1 to 3 for that attack fail, irrespective of any abilities. That's insanely good. You're joking. It can't cost 20 points on a battle tank and just 30 points on a super heavy. God. Well, that's something to stick on your main blade for sure. Veteran Commandeer. When you add this model to your army, select one doctrine from the Regimental Doctrines section that no other unit from your army has. This model has that doctrine in addition to any others it has. Nice. And that one will cost you 20 points or 30 points for super heavy. Knight of Piety, a 5+ invulnerable save. Nice. Each time this model will lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound, you get 5+ feel pain against that as well. Very, very good indeed. And that is 25 points or 35 points. The Master of Camouflage. Each time a range attack is made against this model, if the attacker is more than 12 inches away, it's treated as having the benefits of light cover. If it's Titanic, it's 18 inches away. And that's going to cost you 25 points or 35 points. Next, Steel Commissar. It's going to cost you 25 points. You can't put it onto super heavy. Officer model only. Model knows Prefectus orders. In addition to mechanised orders. In your command phase, you can issue 1 Prefectus order in addition to 1 mechanised order. When this model issues a Prefectus order, The unit you select for that order can be an infantry officer or abhuman unit, but in such cases the regimental tactics ability does not apply. All other rules for orders still apply. So 10 cases. Points cost quite straightforward, quite generous, not too expensive, fine. And the abilities are nice and straightforward. There's not too much complicated stuff going on. So I'm liking this kind of stuff. Just ignore light cover. Easy. Wound rolls 1 to 3 fail. Nice. Still pretty good. I imagine these are going to be popular. So excellent. We'll look at the psychic discipline next. So if you're running psychers, then you've got access to these 6 as well as the usual smite. So terrifying visions. So walk charge value of 6. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 18 inches of the psyker until the start of the next command phase. Subtract 2 for leadership characteristic. If your opponent cannot select that unit for the insane bravery stratagem, nor can they use any rule that would enable them to reroll a morale test. Nice. In addition, roll 2d6. If the result is equal to or greater than the unit's leadership characteristic, after applying the modifier above, any action the unit is currently performing immediately fails to the start of the next command phase. The unit cannot perform actions. Terrifying visions. Maybe useful enough. Okay. Gaze of the Emperor next. Witchfire. Walk charge value of 6. If manifested, select an enemy model within 12 inches of visible to the psyker. Draw a line between any part of that model's base or hull and this psyker's base. Roll 1d6 for each enemy model's unit. Roll 1d6 for each other unit that this line passes over. 1 to 5, it suffers a mortal wound. On a 6, it's d3 mortal wounds. So that's okay. Psychic barrier. Uses so walk charge value of 6. Manifested, select one friendly Astra Militarum unit within 12 inches of the psyker to the start of the next psychic phase. Models that unit get 5+ invulnerable save. Okay, so you can do it. Just thinking of tank C, you can take it as an upgrade, or you can cast it as a power. You got Night Shroud. Walk charge value of 6. If manifested, select one friendly Astra Militarum unit within 12 inches of the psyker. You can select as Titanic unit. You cannot select a Titanic unit unless the result of that psychic test was unmodified 11+. To start with the next psychic phase, each time attack is made against that unit, it's minus 1 to 3 always fails. So again, similar to the 10 case ability upgrade here. The impression I'm getting, if it were me, I probably, and the way I do this codex is like a tactical review, so if I was to collect Astra Militarum, what I would pick and choose. From what I'm seeing here, I probably wouldn't bother with psychers. These aren't that great. I just use the points and other stuff. Mental shackles. But I guess psychers are cheap enough for the guard in here, not too expensive points wise. Mental shackles use walk charge value of 6. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 18 of the psyker to the start of the next psychic phase. Subtract 2 for the movement characteristic and -2 for advanced charge rolls as well. So yeah, it could be useful. It's like an aggressive army. Psychic Maelstrom. So walk charge value of 6. If manifested, roll a number of d6 equal to the result of the psychic test. For each 5+, the closest enemy unit within 18 visible to the psyker suffers a mortal wound, to a maximum of 6 mortal wounds. That was pretty good. Yeah, take that, combine it with smite, and you've got yourself some pretty good mortal wound output. Okay, not bad. So now we're on to Warlord traits. So, frontline combatant. Each time the Warlord makes a melee attack, a modified hit roll of 6 scores 2 extra hits, and +1 to the wound roll as well. Well, if you're going for close combat, that's really good. I'd take that upgrade for some of my other factions. That's a really good one. Master Tactician. Start of the first battle round, you can select up to 3 friendly Astra Militarum units, excluding Titanic. Remove them from the battlefield and set them up anywhere on the battlefield that's wholly within your deployment zones. It's like a redeploy. If you're playing strategic reserves, you can place those units into reserve instead. So yeah, that's very useful as well. That's really good. Grand Strategist uses, whilst this Warlord is on the battlefield, each time you spend a command point, use a stratagem, roll 1d6 and a 5+, you get it back. Superior Tactical Training. When you select this Warlord trait, select one type of orders, Regimental, Perfectus or Mechanized, that this Warlord does not know. The Warlord knows those orders in addition to any others it knows. Old Grudges. Start the first battle round, select one enemy unit. At the end of the battle, this Warlord gains the following ability. Old Grudges, whilst a friendly platoon or battle tank squadron within 6 inches of this Warlord, each time model in that friendly unit makes an attack against the enemy unit, add 1 to the wound roll. Yeah, well, that's another good one. Yeah, there's a nice bit of potency with those. That one's really good. +1 to the wind rolls. Cool. Lead by example. The Warlord can issue orders to its own unit, even though you normally cannot select officer units when issuing orders. Okay. So yeah, they're all fine. Just list the named characters, the fixed traits that they have. Tempestus, there's 3. Our friendly Militarum Tempestus infantry units within 6 inches of this Warlord. This is drill commander, aura ability. Instead of following the normal rules for rapid fire weapons, models that unit can make double the number of attacks when shooting with such weapons. E.g., rapid fire 1 would make 2 attacks at any range. Nice. Okay, not bad. Precision targeting aura. As a friendly Militarum Tempestus infantry unit is within 6 inches of this Warlord, each time model that unit makes a ranged attack, the target does not receive the benefits of cover against that attack. And then uncompromising prosecution aura. While a friendly Militarum Tempestus infantry unit is within 6 inches of this Warlord, each time model that unit makes a ranged attack, the target's unit within half range improve the arm penetration characteristic of that attack by 1. So again, it'd be helpful enough for Tempestus for sure. So now we are on to relics. So I'm getting the impression with this book there is a straightforwardness to this Guard Codex. I feel very much at ease with it. Just the way the abilities are all... I haven't come across anything that's like, oh, this is an annoying waste of time rule, or this is very complicated. I mean, sort of reading it once and understanding it straight away. The layout, it's all pretty good. Again, let me know what you think in the comment section, but perhaps it's taken a good while, but Games Workshop sort of really getting these codexes right now. They seem to be putting them together really well. This one's got a very good flow to it here. And you fear when a new codex comes out, like, oh, they're starting to add in more stuff, and and bloating the codexes are getting bigger and bigger, but it's all nicely contained. Don't go over the top. Like 10 cases, there's a page. Pick your power. They're all quite straightforward. So you can memorise them off by heart quite easily. No problem. The stratagems are all nice and straight. There's a nice flow to this codex. Just immediately, it's striking me as being that situation. So then just straight on to relics. I'm sure there's going to be some good ones in here. So the Emperor's Benediction. It's a bolt pistol. You get range 18, pistol 3, strength 4, -1, 2 damage. Each time you select a target for this weapon, you can ignore the lookout so rule. 6 is to wound. Is I'm off the wound, so it's not bad. If you really want to spend the CP are precious. It's a decent strategy, so you have to be careful about spending the points for this. Tactical Auto Reliquary of Tiberius. Officer model. Bearer can the bearer can issue one additional order that it knows. Fine. Death Mask of Valenius. From us invulnerable. So see what I'm getting at here? This is all simple stuff. This is nice. The Barbican's Key. Infantry model only. Once the battle movement phase, the bearer can use this relic. If it does so, remove the bearer from the battlefield and set it back up anywhere on the battlefield that's 1 inches away from enemy models. To the end of that turn, you can reroll charge rolls made for the bearer's unit. Nice. And Kurov's Aquila. Once per battle, after your opponent uses a stratagem excluding command reroll, the bearer can use this relic. If it does so until the end of the battle, the command point cost your opponent must pay to use that stratagem again is increased by 1. The Gatekeeper, which just overflows from the old codex here. So it's Limros Battle Cannon. So the stats probably have changed. Range 72, heavy D3 plus 6, strength 9 -3, 3 damage. Blast turret. Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it was like 2d6 shots and blast. So really it's now 6 plus D3, which is a lot more reliability. Fine. The Relic have lost Cadian. Cadian model only. Once we're back in the command phase, the bearer can use this relic. If it does so until the end of the turn, the bearer gains the following ability. So the relic's there. It's an aura of friendly Cadian infantry units in 6 inches. This model improve the weapon skill, ballistic skill characteristic models in that unit by 1. They have 1 to the attacks and leadership characteristic models in that unit. Right, so a big super buff going on there. Order of the Bastion Stellaris. Infantry model only. Each time an attack is made against the bearer's unit, wounds of 1 to 3 woes fail. Legacy of Caladius. It replaces a chain sword. Gives you +1 strength, +2 and 2 damage. And you get 3 additional attacks to the weapon. So potent enough if you think it's worth the CP. The Sai Sigil of Sanction. Bearer knows 1 additional psychic power. An attempt to manifest an additional psychic power. The armor of Graf Toshenko, or Graf Toshenko. Add 1 to the wounds characteristic, and the bearer has a save characteristic of 2+. Laurels of Command, officer model only, once per battle at the start of any phase in your opponent's turn, the bearer can issue 1 order. It knows from the following list, as if it were your command phase. This cannot be an order that has already issued this battle round. It's fixed balance and just lists them there. Claw of the Desert Tigers. Models equipped with Power Sword or Power Saber. It replaces it with +1 strength, -3 and 2 damage. And you get 2 additional attacks to that weapon as well. Clarion Proclamatus. Command squad model with a Master Box only. Each time an officer in the bearer's unit issues an order and select a target for that order, you can improve the range restriction of that type of order. If you do so, you can only select a unit of the Voxcaster keyword as the target for that order. All other rules for issuing orders still apply. And then final or finial of the Nemrodesh First. Command squad, regimental standard. It gains this aura ability whilst a friendly Astra Militarum core units with 6 inches of this model's unit. Each time model unit makes a ranged attack can ignore or any or modifiers to the attack's hit roll. And if the attack is allocated to an enemy model, the enemy model cannot use any rules that ignore the wounds it loses. Null Coat. It's a Tempest, a primal Commissar model only. In your opponent's psychic phase, the bearer can attempt to know 1 psychic power as if it were a psyker, and +1 to neither which test is taken. The Emperor's Fury, it's a plasma pistol. It's range 18, pistol 3. Sorry, range 12, pistol 3, strength 8, -3, 2 damage. And doesn't overheat. Refractor Field Generator. Knows the Tempestus Prime model knows the following ability. The Shield Generator aura whilst a friendly Militarum Tempestus infantry units within 6 inches, they get a 5+ invulnerable save. So as I said, all quite straightforward here. Not too bad at all. And this is particularly nice. They've added in a piece, a full page. They've given you a piece of the old artwork. It's so good to put the throwback in there. Not to ignore previous editions, previous artwork, but to continue to celebrate it, to remember it, and to bring it to the forefront here. Because it is nothing to be ashamed of. It's a fantastic piece of artwork. It's dated in its style, but then that becomes like this. It becomes like you look at Georgian artwork or Victorian artwork. That is the style. It's not. It's just the. So this isn't a thing to be a. Yeah, it's like, oh, this is out of date work. Out of date paintings. We'll just push those away and forget about them. No, we'll bring them right up to the modern book and include them and give them a full page. Very, very nice indeed. It's brilliant to see that in the book. Because that's early artwork, that is. And it is fantastic. And why can't it be inspiration? Because the colour scheme on these is particularly good, actually. This darker olivey green helmet and body armour, chipped. The brown kind of boots, and then the camo patterns particularly nice on these. So the mixed colour of browns and like a dappled dotted brown effect. Is that? I'm just checking. Yeah, I'm just looking at. I wonder if they tried to bring it into the modern colour scheme. But anyway, that's a nice colour scheme, that one. And I think it would look particularly nice on tanks as well. So that's what I'm saying. You can't write off the older stuff. There's plenty of inspiration to be drawn from previous early artwork, and it can give you some great ideas for colour schemes to delve back into the previous artwork and then to draw out from that and apply it to your models. So that would make a great colour scheme. I like that one. Right. So data sheets. So there's some rules first of all. We'll do turret weapons. So some Astra Militarum ranged weapons are turret weapons. Each time the weapon is selected to shoot. If that model is within engagement range of any enemy units, it can still target and resolve attacks against enemy units that are not within engagement range of it with weapons of this ability. Note that when making such attacks, you must subtract 1 from hit rolls due to enemy models being within engagement range. Each time that model makes an attack with that weapon, add 1 to the attack's hit roll. So hold on a second. You can still target and resolve attacks against enemy units not within engagement range. Right. So the current rules is your vehicle's locked in combat. You can allocate your firepower, and if you think you can wipe out the stuff that's on your vehicle with some of your weapons, you can then declare outside of that unit to fire at other targets. If you don't destroy what's in base contact or engagement range, then you're stuck and the firepower's negated. If you do wipe them out with the other weapons, then where you've declared you can then shoot. But this is different here. This, I think, is what it's saying, is that you can allocate your turret to fire even though you've still got enemy units within engagement range. So, and you're just thinking of the realism of it. You know, you've got Hormigaunt scratching at the side of your Lehman Russ, but the turret continues to fire at the Carnifex that's heading straight towards it. That's what that replicates in here. That's very cool and fine, fair, absolutely fair enough. You get +1 to hit rolls as well for turret weapons on top of that. So turret weapons roll is excellent. Regiment tactics. If every model in your army, excluding agent, the Imperium aligned models has Astra Militarum keyword. Each time an officer from your army issues a regimental or prefectus order to a unit with this ability, you can select one or more other friendly platoon units within 6 inches of that unit. Those platoon units are also affected by that order. Each time an officer from your army issues a mechanised order to a unit with this ability, you can select one or more friendly squadron units within 6 inches, and those squadron units are also affected by that order. Then you've got voice of command. In your command phase, Astra Militarum officers from your army can issue orders. There are 3 types. So regimental is standard like infantry type stuff, prefectus, which is your commissarial type things, and then mechanised for your tank commanders and stuff. The commanding authority section of each officer's data sheet will specify which types of orders the officer knows and how many orders it can issue per turn. Each time an officer issues an order, you can select one of the orders it knows. This can be an order which is already issued by another friendly officer that turn, so yeah, you can do multiple, bring it down, whatever it is. But the same officer cannot attempt to issue the same order more than once in the same battle round. Fair enough. You must then select a target unit for that order to be issued to. If issuing a regimental prefectus order, select one friendly platoon unit within 6 inches of the officer's unit. If issuing a mechanised order, select one friendly squadron within 12 inches. So generous enough for the vehicles. The unit you selected is then affected by the order. The unit can only be affected by one order at a time, so you can't stack them up. If the unit is being affected by an order when it's selected to be affected by another order, the new order immediately replaces the old one. So you can overrule orders, which is interesting. Officers, so that's summarising it for you. Disembarking officers. If in your movement phase an officer from your army disembarks from a transfer model, after that officer's unit has been set up, it can issue orders as if it were your command phase. Interesting. However, when doing so, the regimental tactics ability see left does not apply, even if every model from your army has the Astra Militarum keyword. Note that an officer cannot issue orders in this way when disembarking from a destroyed transport vehicle. Fair enough. So, very good. And then it makes sense. You've got regimental orders for infantry, commissar stuff, and then over the other side is the mechanised. So again, there's a nice flow, nice logic to what's going on here. So first rank fire, second rank fire until the end of your next shooting phase. Change the type of las guns and hotshot las guns to heavy 3. What? Heavy 3? Oh boy. Take aim until the end of the next shooting phase. Each time model this unit makes a range attack, add 1 to the attack's hit roll and improve the AP by 1. Nice. God, orders are good. Fixed bayonets until the end of the next fight phase. Each time a model in this unit makes a melee attack, add 1 to the attack's hit roll, improve the AP by 1. Fantastic. Take cover till the start of the next command phase. Each time an attack is allocated to a model in this unit, models in that unit receive the benefits of cover against that attack, or light cover against that attack, so you get +1. If a unit affected by this order is already receiving the benefits of light cover, additionally receive the benefits of dense cover as well. So -1 to hit +1 to 7 pros for take cover. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Move, move, move. At the end of the next movement phase, if this unit makes a normal move, add 2 inches to the move characteristic models of that unit. At the end of the next movement phase, if this unit advances, do not make an advance roll instead. At the end of that phase, add 6 inches to the move characteristic. Right, so it's not like move again, but it's a stretch to your move and a guaranteed 6-inch advance, which again is fine. Suppression fire. Add in your next shooting phase. The first time this unit is selected to shoot, you can select one enemy infantry unit that's visible to it. If you do so, models in this unit can only make attacks against the enemy unit to this phase, and only if that enemy unit is an eligible target for those attacks. If this unit scores 5 more hits against the enemy unit until the end of the opponent's next turn, the enemy unit is suppressed. Right, so whilst the unit is suppressed, each time that unit makes an attack, it's -1 to the attack's hit roll. So it's proper suppression fire. Makes an attack. So you could suppress them for their firepower coming back at you, or if they're trying to get you in close combat. So regimental orders are fantastic. So it seems to be that to do well with the guard, your command structure is going to be pretty important, because orders are potent enough. They're really going to help you out. Prefectus orders now. Forwards for the Emperor here. So until the end of your next shooting phase, when this unit is selected to shoot, if it made a normal move or advance in the previous movement phase, and until the end of that shooting phase, it counts as having remained stationary. Okay, so the benefits, there'll be benefits to mixing up your regimental command with commissarial stuff to have the two working together, which is like how it's meant to be. Duty and honour to the start of the next. So this is for them fighting efficiently. This is for them staying in the fight. Mostly, I think that's the way it's going to work. And you're going to need both to be working in tandem, I think. To the start of the next duty and honour, to the start of the next command phase, this unit can still perform actions in the turn in which it fell back or advanced, and it can shoot without any actions it's performing failing. That's excellent. Yeah, and the great thing about orders is you just issue them, which is a good a strength for the guard for sure. You just get them, not rolling up. It's not like a litany, for example. Yeah, they get back in the fight to the start of the next command phase. The unit is eligible to shoot or charge, but not both, in the turn in which it fell back. Yeah, brilliant. At all costs. At the end of your next command phase, this unit gains the objective secured ability. If the unit already has this ability, then it counts as one additional model, blah blah blah. Show them steel, show them contempt. Oh boy. These are all chants. Oh no. He's going to chant all these. James is going to... Oh, they've given him chants to shout at me across the battlefield. Show them steel, show them contempt. And I'm going to get that blasted in my ears now. Thanks, Games Workshop. Remain vigilant next. Oh, sorry. And to the start of the next command phase, this is show them steel, show them contempt. Add 1 to leadership characteristics. Each time model in this unit would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound. It's a 5+4, no pain. Then remain vigilant. Enemy units that are set up on the battlefield as reinforcements can't be set up within 12 inches of this unit. Interesting. Very, very helpful. Very, very helpful. If an enemy unit declares a charge against this unit and this unit is not within engage at range, it can hold steady. If it does so until the end of the phase, the Overwatch attacks made are 5+ instead of 6s. Again, that's useful as well. Commissars are going to be useful here. Yep, dot them around your army. And look to the Emperor for your help. Mechanised orders, pound them to dust. At the end of the next shooting phase, each time this unit is selected to shoot for the purpose of determining how many attacks are made by blast weapons models this unit are equipped with, double the number of models in the target unit. Yeah, okay, well, yes, that is very useful. That is very, very useful. Full throttle. To the end of the next to the end of your next move phase, add 2 inches to move characteristic models of this unit. And to the end of the next shooting phase, this unit is selected to shoot if it advanced during your previous movement phase. Until the end of the phase, it counts as having remained stationary, so very, very useful. Gunners kill on sight. To the end of the next shooting phase, each time model this unit makes a range attack, reroll a hit roll 1. Blitz them. Add 1 to charge rolls. If this unit makes a charge move this turn, select one enemy unit within engage range of this unit and roll 1d6, adding 1 if the unit has a dozer blade. On a 4+, the unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. Shock and awe. At the end of the next command phase, this unit gains objectives secured. And then pinning fire in your next shooting phase. The The first time this unit is selected to shoot, you can select one enemy infantry units visible to it. Models of this unit can only make attacks against that enemy unit this phase, and only if that enemy unit is an eligible target for those attacks. And if this unit scores 5 or more hits against an enemy unit until the end of your opponent's next turn, the enemy unit is pinned. It's -2 to move. Pinning fire, similar to suppressing fire. So there you go. Yeah, all quite straightforward. There's a definite potency in there, and it seems to be that keeping your command structure in good order is a good position to be in. Okay, so we've come to the end of the rules. I'm liking all those rules. They seem fine. Yeah. And Games Workshop wisely haven't tried to bring in the other regiments into this book. They haven't tried to expand the Militarum Tempestus, like to bloat out a load of extra stuff. There's a few bits in there for them, a couple of little bits, but those bits they have added in for the Tempestus are pretty good. But they haven't bloated in a ton of extra stuff. So then what you have here is quite a sensible size codex actually. It's about the same size as your average kind of codex at the moment, which for guard and the variety of stuff is really good. And there's just a nice flow to it. So with the codex reviews that I've been doing over the last, well, for 9th edition, this one's one of the really good ones. Now again, you may completely disagree, you may say this is a rubbish codex for the guard, but I think this is looking really good. So what we're going to look at next is your stat lines. I'm going to call out some of the points values for you as well to give you an idea on points. I'm not going to go through every single rule. I'll focus more on the new stuff and look for really sort of significant changes. I think weapons is going to be some of the big stuff here, what the weapons can do. That's what I'm itching to find out, how potent some of these weapons are. I want to have a good old look at the Rogal Dorn as well. You can see it just in the background with the double-barreled weapons. So stuff like that's going to be the main focus, but I'll do the best I can to give you a good spread. Yeah, so what I think I'm going to do is we've gone for a brilliant chunk of the codex here, and just for ease of access for people, and you can pick and choose, you can go to both or go to one or the other. I'm going to split this video up, so I'm going to do unit profiles in one video, and then everything else that you've seen is in this video here. So that's the way I'm going to run it. So do check out the other video here for this point onwards, which is all your stat lines, points, values for the actual units, is what we'll take a look at in that second half. So you come over and join me on that second video. It should be live in the part 2 section for this codex review. It just means that you can access whichever one you want to take a look at, or indeed both here for the review. So that's the review so far. We've cut through to the halfway point. The discount 40k, including all the new Cadian stuff coming out, is 20% off Warhammer for the Outpost. If your order's large enough, you can tap into free postage, which is excellent. They do send out to many of the European Union countries as well, and if your order's large enough, you can access free postage with duties paid from them. Also, I've ordered from they're a new sponsor on the channel. I've ordered from them a number of times, and so far it says in stock, you buy it, and then it's dispatched, and it's with you in a few days. And so the turnaround from them is excellent. So I've noticed that for stuff coming through, things I've been buying have been coming through super quick. So nicely impressed by that. But check them out. If you use the link, it does help support the channel in a small way, and it means you can get a hold of 40k stuff, Age of Sigmar and so on, all at a discounted rate. So link for them in the video description below. But check out part 2 for this review. We'll take a look at the units. Thanks for watching. Tune in next time.